Hey, what's up everyone? Mendel here. I hope you are all doing awesome and wonderful. So over here we have one of my all-time favorite amps. This is the Mesa Road King II, Dual Rectifier Road King II. I think I'll just call it the Mesa Boogie, or let's say the Mesa Road King II. There we go. Before we go on, I'm plugged straight into this MAXON OD808 pedal, which is off, which is going straight into the amp. Amp is going into the Driftwood load box, which is in my opinion the best load box I ever heard, which is going straight into my Apollo 8 X8 interface. Don't mind the Tonex box on here, I'm doing some captures, but I'm not using that in this video. Here's a short story why it's my favorite amp of all time. Back in the day, it almost sounds like I'm saying I'm old, I'm not. But years ago I used to play in a band called Aborted, and I remember we were playing a show in Indonesia, if I'm correct. And they said, like, what kind of amps do you like? And I said Mesa, and Danny Tonker, the other guitar player, he was more into EVH. Now I'm also very much into EVH. Anyway, I said I like Mesa amps. So I get on stage and I see, are you kidding me? Like, of all places, of all shows in Europe, they could never get this amp, and now this amp is here, the Mesa Road King II. I never played it. I was like, okay, Mesa, I like dual rectifiers, they fix our Road King II, so let's plug into it. And during the sound check, like, I was playing on the Mesa cab, so that's the best combination that, like, on earth. I remember I plugged in, I strummed the first chord, and I was like so blown away about the thickness, like the grit, the in your face, like this. That richness, that big thick Mesa sound. So yeah, right then I knew, okay, this is one of the best things I've ever played. So a big thanks to a dude called Mike who let me borrow this amp because I'm re-recording my first solo album, or rewriting actually, and I just want to have this amp on there because it has that sound I have in my head, the thickness, the big chocolate cake sound. I know John Petrucci thinks that the chocolate cakes in JP2C. He might be right though, but this is also a chocolate cake. Let's say this is a big, thick red velvet cake. All right? Okay. Before we go on, let's play a bit more. All right, so this amp has so many possibilities. It could be intimidating if you're new to amps. We have 4 606 tubes. We have 2 EL34 tubes, and you can do combinations. You can do two, like if, for example, on each individual channel, you can have different tube combinations. So let's say on channel 3, which is on the orange light, I could say I want to have 2 606 tubes, and on channel 4 I want to have all tubes, so 4 606 tubes and 2 EL34 tubes. Let's just do some more chugging. For our cab, I'm using an impulse response based on a Road King cab. It's Queens Road cab number 10. If you like what you're hearing, I'll put a link in the description box down below so you can check that right out. All right, so let's dive into that tube switching. So you see these lights here. I'm not sure if you can see it on this camera. Yeah, there we go. So we have these 2 red lights here. Now, this light is 2 606s, this light is 2 606s, and this light is the 2 EL34s. So when I go to the back, you can see when I turn the knob, it shows a different combination. So this is 2 606s, this is 2 EL34s, this is 2 606s and 2 EL34s, this is 4 times 6L6s, And this is 4 times 6L6s and 2 EL34s. So starting at the beginning, I'll try to level match it in post because there's some level differences. This is 2 6L6s, 2 EL34s. It's a bit more brittle in a good way. This is 2 6L6s and 2 EL34s. 4 6L6s. 4 6L6s and 2 EL34s. Okay, so now I'm going back to the 4 6L6s. There we go. Okay, so now let's see how well it reacts to putting an overdrive pedal in front of it. This is the MAXON OD808. I got the typical classic settings like drive all the way down, balance all the way up, and then the tone in the middle. I'm gonna dial back the gain a bit. Let's turn on the overdrive pedal. Definitely becomes way more tight. Again, without it. With it. Perhaps add a tiny bit more gain. That sounds pretty chunky. Again, without it. Now for the settings, I'm now on, like, let's see, treble is at 3 o'clock, mid is at 2 o'clock, bass is at, let's say, 1 o'clock, presence is around 2 o'clock, and the gain is now around 2 o'clock as well. Okay, so now let's go to channel 1. Now if I'm correct, this section is basically based upon the Mesa Lone Star. And that's one of, I think, I would say one of, but I think it's my favorite clean amp of all time. For me personally, nothing beats a Mesa Lone Star, Andy Timmons all the way. Let's check it out. So this is, let's see, 2 times EL34s on the clean channel. Okay, so added in some bass, some gain, and let's give it a listen. Oh, for the pickups, by the way, these are Fishman pickups. This is the Ryan Bruce one. This is the Devin Townsend one. So I'm now in single coil mode on the Devin Townsend neck pickup. Back to humbucker mode. So let's see, let's add some gain, see where it breaks up. It feels so thick, what he said. Okay, so now let's go to the fat channel. I feel like it compresses a bit, but feels really good. Okay, so now let's go to channel 2. Fast channel, just like before. But now we have Brit. Okay, let's try this with the overdrive pedal. I think this would be like become a bit cool, like Marshall-ish. Not per se. That's better. Okay, let's go back to the high gain, okay? So besides the tube switching, like we said with 606s, EL34s and kind of stuff, you can also switch between the diode, which you can have tube tracking and rectifier, if I'm correct. Let me just double check. Recto tube tracking and diode. So let's switch between those two and see what kind of difference we can hear and feel. So I'm just gonna do palm mute and switch between the two. So there's a volume difference, so I'll make sure I'll even that out in post. But it feels like the amp becomes more open when diode is on, and it's a bit more scooped when the recto is on. So let's go to channel 4. Do the same thing. Modern. Feels like there's more upper mids. I could go on like this for days, just chugging and having fun. So yeah, that's a short run through of the Road King II, because there are so many combinations you could do with recto tube tracking on EL34s or 4 6L6s, and then do diode. I mean, a lot of possibilities, but basically just this, like having it on the modern channel, this sound. Just that feel, that's the chugging and how it responds. I mean, that's why it's easily one of my favorite amps of all time. So I almost had to make sure to check it out, but if I'm correct, this amp is not available anymore. Mesa doesn't make it anymore, but it's on the second-hand market. It's not a cheap amp. I think it's around 2,500 euros still, but in my opinion, definitely worth it. One of the sickest sounding and feeling amps ever. Let's just go to channel 3, just for fun. See you next time.